To the gods and goddesses, this is Brother Sakim, and I am in Harlem, and this is Key Life Productions. And I am honored to be in the home of the great Jabari Osaze as he conducts his ceremony as every other Sunday, Kemetic Ascension. Now, without further ado, we'll go in, listen, and hope that you enjoy. Peace.
Involved with MAAT, with justice.
So is the MAAT law.
MAAT is just one of the principles of MAAT is justice
and law.
And law. But I'm focusing on justice right now.
Well, how can you get? See, what I'm saying is that we understood that it was part of that scale. It was part of the scale. And why, even though we are here in this time and we are from the temple, I believe that if you bring forth truth, because their laws, a lot of their laws are based off of what they learned from us.
Mm-hmm.
And if you understand actual law of any country, I don't mean just the United States, of any country, it only deals, the true law will only deal with the man and the woman. That is written in law. And as we as MAAT practitioners and from this temple, this is what we have to bring out. This is what I bring out on my social. Barbara Ruby on me all the time because that's what I put out on my page.
How does what you're saying impact naked racist police violence? Well, that's what we're talking about today.
Yes, naked, it's there. You're not going to. It's there. It's something that is there. How do we protect ourselves and our community? It's understanding the armor that you wear. I just don't wear Ankh, and I don't wear just this thing of MAAT. I bring it forth in truth every day, and even in speaking, in my actions, in my words. So this is how we do this in our community. Because a lot of people didn't know this. I'm sharing stuff and they said, I didn't know this. I said, well, the first armor is you walk around with this mini computer on your pocket, Google, start learning. It's just not just taking in these words. You have to do research and understand. You share with your brother. You share with your sister. You share with your mother. You share with
Once again, I'm not trying to counter what you're saying. The focus on this is a little bit different today. The focus is not simply knowing the law. The focus is taking action.
That's the action.
But here, no, the action cannot be reading the law, because that will lead us. Wait, let me finish. That will lead us once again to becoming insular, to reading books. No. And reading books is wonderful, but the reality is people are being murdered in the streets. And where is MAAT? Where are the practitioners of the Kemetic tradition?
Do you think marching is going to do it?
Marching has done a lot more than simply reading.
Also keep in mind though, just because they created the law doesn't mean they follow their own laws.
But I'm saying
and they change their laws anytime it becomes convenient.
You know one of the greatest trickeries that I found out that has hurt us? When a police officer is not, when he's, okay, he's not guilty, they let him go, they say, okay, we're going to forgive him. You know what they turn around to us and tell us to do? And the ministers come and tell you, go file a civil rights claim. They violated your civil rights.
Civil rights class action.
There you go. Did you know that that's the most detrimental harm that has ever happened?
The thing is this.
That's you can file that after someone's already been shot.
That is not the focus of today. Yeah. I am not disagreeing with you. I am saying the focus today is a slightly different thing. Mm-hmm. This is what I am saying. I am saying that there have been practitioners of the Kemetic tradition for at least the last 50 years in the United States. And during that time, Brother Jabari has been part of many movements for justice. This is not something that most people know, but my background is in militancy and activism. That is what I've always done. And when I'm there, I don't see us. That is what I'm saying. And if we are the practitioners of MAAT, the practitioners of justice, we should be in the forefront. We have to do something. I'm not saying that knowing the law is not important. That's not what I'm saying. Of course we should know the law. But I am saying we need to do more than sit in these wonderful rooms and discuss the nature of the universe. That is what I'm saying. It's time for us to get involved.
A call to action.
Yes. That is what I'm saying. So the law, we must know the law. That's not not the focus of this. The focus is the fact that what we have been primarily doing is operating and dealing with only ourselves. And that we must do more.
Make our presence much more public.
Yes, in the community,
Yes.
resolving these issues. And listen, there are those people who say that some of the things that we have done have not worked. And I want to caution us about that. Because just a few decades ago, we would have been in chains. There's some things that we did that did work. They did work. I mean, this is almost like we're in the midst of a battle, and your side is winning, and you say, you know what? We haven't won yet. Let's just put down our arms and go find something else to do. We are still in the midst of the battle. And believe it or not, we have been winning. But if you are not clear on what has occurred over the last 200, 300, 400, 500 years, and you don't look at history in its longer sense, then you can be misled about what has worked and what has not worked. I am not saying the only thing we must do is march. I would never say that. I'm also not saying the only thing we must do is educate us on the law, because I would not say that either. What I am saying is that we must be more involved in our community and in movements for justice. In fact, we should be at the forefront of them. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And so I want to talk to you about this 5-step proposal that I am suggesting. The first thing we need to do is we need to balance the truth of the criminal, the truth of the criminal justice focus on people of African descent with finding ways for kids to be kids. So yes, we have to talk about the fact that in many communities the police do damage to black folk. And we have to talk to our children about it early enough so that they can behave in a way that perhaps will not allow them to be under the gaze of the criminal justice system. That's what my mother was saying to me when she said, when you're lost or you're in trouble, don't go find a police officer, find another mother. That's what she was saying. But at the same time, we have to try to make sure that we find ways for our kids to still enjoy those things that kids need to enjoy. That child who was standing there in complete confusion, trying to make sense of a world that does not make sense, had realized that he could not be a child. That he could not do the things that other children do. That's what he realized. We have to try to rescue his ability to be a child. That's what we have to do. Why can't a 12-year-old play with a toy gun? Now, we could say all the things we want about pacifism, all the things we want about whether we should be allowing them to have the implements of death. That's an argument for another day. But I am saying that there are millions of children who have played with toy guns. Why can't a little black child do it? We have to rescue their ability to be children. That's what we have to do. And that's why the Shrine of MAAT must find ways. I have been saying this, and we're going to work even more diligently on this. We must find ways that this is a space that is endearing, that is loving, and that is enjoyable for children. The Kemetic legacy must not simply be so cerebral. We have to do some things so that kids can be involved. When you come into Kemetic shrines, you don't see many children. That's a challenge. We have to do more. Number 2, I'm going to go through these quickly, okay, and then we can have a conversation. We have to be sure to develop emotional, spiritual, and psychological self-care plans, because dealing with this system causes dynamic injury to us. You wonder why you walk outside and you see people acting like they've lost their minds. There is a strain that is placed upon us at all moments. When a child is just having a lawn care business, how many children have actually mowed lawns for money, had a paper route for money, done those simple things that children do when they're learning how to operate in the world? And when something like this says, you cannot do this, it causes damage. And that damage we carry with us from that day to now. It is heavy. I remember being a college student and recognizing that while the other students could worry about the exam, or worry about whether they were getting the notes right in class. I had to worry about whether if I opened my mouth, I insulted my entire race, whether if I didn't do well or said something that wasn't great, that they'd look at me as less than human. And then I had to worry about whether I get kicked out when no other black people, almost no other black people were in the class or in the... It was heavy. It was like running a race with weights on my back. We have to develop plans that help us heal emotionally and psychologically. This is the reason why we see so many people in our community that seem to have lost their minds. There is a weight to racism, a psychological weight. And I'm not forgetting that we are supposed to be in the middle, not in the middle, but towards the end of our 90-day meditation challenge. What are you doing to heal? And I know that this is not the kind of conversation that men usually have with men. But what are you doing to heal? Are you meditating? Are you in your altar work? What do you do to deal with the stress that you are under? Our sisters think about these things more than men do. I know you do, queens. I know you do. How many of us had mothers that when they had a hard day, they would go take a nice bath with some candles and stuff? And our mothers did that. What did your father do? Drink a beer? What did he do?
Watch TV.
Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. We need to develop systems to help us deal with the weight of this system. Number 3, we have to become involved in movements for justice if you are a vessel of MAAT. We have to be there. We have to be. Anika and I go to Black Lives Matter rallies. Am I saying that Black Lives Matter is perfect? No. But what am I waiting for? A perfect vessel to be created so I can become involved? Is that what is the practice of MAAT?
We become involved to make it.
We have to become involved. Number 4, a corrective history of Africans is critical. Because when we tell our children who they really are, they'll be able to counter what is being said about them. It is critical. And number 5, Kemetic shrines must be public spaces for dialogue of something more than just spirituality. We must talk about spirituality. We must talk about how we can connect ourselves to our ancestors and to the Neteru. Of course we should have those conversations, but we must talk about more than that. We have to talk about the issues that affect our community. There's a reason why Nick and I are in the middle of Harlem. Trust me, we have friends, and now that we're getting older, we have friends that are doing quite well in other places that talk about their wonderful trips to Europe. And they sit with us and they say, you know, we just got back from Paris. You know how wonderful it was? I took a picture of a croissant that they made. Listen, man, what's wrong with you? You got that degree that people died and bled for so that you could now say, this is for me, so I can make the most money, have the whitest possible wife or husband, and go off and live someplace else outside of our community? We have friends, if I can still call them that did that. Those are my friends. Those are my friends. We have those friends now. The friends that we turn on TV and they're the commentators on television. Those are people that we met each other with. The friends that you open up the newspaper and there they are, they've gotten a big promotion. We have a good friend that might actually lead the NBA. I'm talking about a dude that I used to sit down and talk politics with. He's still a solid brother. But what am I saying? I'm saying that we have to be involved in the affairs of our community. That's why Anika and I decided to be here in Harlem, when we could have done what some of our friends did, and to see how we could live amongst white folks and do the things they do, like we arrived. That's not why people struggled. That's not why they struggle. They struggled so we could do something. So that now, Anika and I can't say, okay, we live in the hood, but we still don't want to be of the hood. We're going to just close our door and not do nothing, and we still going to go to Bergdorf Goodman and you know, drive around in our fancy cars. And pretend that they're not there.
think they do it. Martin
We
Luther King.
have to be involved. Do Martin Luther King. What?
Yeah, because what is integration? They think they have integrated it.
Oh, come on. Don't malign that ancestor. That is not what he meant.
No, but that's what they think.
Yeah, they think that's what the civil rights movement. Okay, good. I'm glad we clarified that. We clarified that. They think that is the civil rights movement.
Yes.
Right. That it means
And
that now they should benefit on their own. That's what
We
it's
should all
like.
have a Starbucks.
Yeah, I had a good friend that said, I can't live in Harlem. It doesn't have Aldine and DeLuca.
Oh, what?
I said, chicken, you crazy?
Go downtown.
That's what I said to her. I can't live in Harlem. I'll visit. I have another good friend that said, I don't know if I can live so far away from Whole Foods. I said, first of all, you from the south side of Chicago.
Oh.
Second of all, Whole Foods is on 125th Street. Get your mind right, African.
But they can't.
We have to be involved.
They can't.
Don't say nothing else. I know you're about to talk about that person. Stop it.
He caught me.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because she might be watching. You need to understand that she knows we're talking about her, but we're not going to just lay out all her stuff. What I'm saying is that we have to be involved. The Kemetic tradition tends to attract the best and the brightest of us. I know that because I know each of you. Those people that have studied more. Those people who have done more work. But we can't just close the doors and look at beautiful silver ankhs. We have to do more. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes.
Come to you, do you feel me?
I'm feeling you too.
That is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
We can.
Okay. So I know you had your hand raised.
No.
Brother Ahmed's trying to, who? What?
Right here.
Did you want to say something?
No.
Corey?
No, I'm good.
Augustus? Who?
Yeah.
Oh,
Part of what I do, because I am a law enforcement officer,
I didn't know that.
is to do balance.
Mm.
Especially, I educate people not only on the laws, but on the policies that the officers have to follow.
Mm.
Because the policies that some of the officers follow are very contradictory of the law, which is why they're able to kill you and still get off on doing it.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So I educate people on what it is that an officer is allowed to do, and with the gray area that an officer
Operates
follow.
in.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. So, that's part of what I do as a law enforcement officer, being inside.
Yeah.
Letting people know, like, listen, you can't do this, you can't do that. Matter of fact, when we print this out, read this book, read this CPL law. This is departmental policy. This is the actual law. This is the laws that they follow. This is the state laws. These are the city laws. These are the city ordinances.
Why is that so important? I'm going to tell you why what he's saying is so important.
Yeah.
And why the reading and the law is important. Why? Because that is a tuning fork.
Yep.
And unless you're tuned, you're out of tune. And you don't know why this man is shooting you. You see what I'm saying? So you're walking around totally oblivious to everything around you. Listen, I could walk out and possibly be shot too, but I haven't. And frankly, if I used my life as an indicator of racism, there would be no racism because I've never been bothered, okay? I've never been bothered by anybody, ever. I travel the globe, I'm never bothered. That's the vibration on me, whatever, okay? Okay, but what I'm saying is that you absolutely, what he's doing, what he's telling people is that I have to give this vibration. They have to know. Okay, if you're going to read the Book of the Dead, then you need to read this pamphlet also, because you need to know what you're walking in. You need to know what you're walking in. You can't be in here oblivious. You're walking around this man's society. He has all kind of invisible jurisdictions that you're stepping into and out of all day. You haven't the slightest clue that you walked into a jurisdiction. You haven't the slightest clue what a hospital is. It's a jurisdiction. Okay, you need to know that when you walk inside one.
No disagreement.
Okay, but
I want to be clear. I have to be clear that the focus of this conversation is a little bit different because people in the Kemetic tradition love to read.
Yeah.
And it's time for us to do. Wait. It's time for us to do more than read. That is what I'm saying.
Right.
Don't get lost there.
Okay.
Please.
Can I say-
We need to know the law. We need to know the public, the local ordinances. We should be familiar with the operational manual. Yeah, but if that conversation is going to lead us to do more reading in this group,
Oh, no.
then that is incorrect for this moment.
Right.
Because what we must do is be involved.
Right. Exactly.
So, as a member of Hempson and a member of the Shrine of MAAT for a long time, I'm going to be willing to say that I have done something in what you mentioned. I don't know about a few, I think it was last year, a bunch of children were being missing in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
And a brother came on, I was on social media, he says, man, we need to go into our community and let our women know that they're not alone. I'm all the way up here in New York. I heard it on a Sunday. It was a Sunday. I went to automatic to Amtrak and got it and jumped and found. I was trying to catch it in New Rochelle. I couldn't.